Welcome once more to our precious Constitution keepers. I tell you, we're here in the Scottish Heritage Party to bring you our hearts over how we are determined to restore the heritage of our nation. Over the last weeks, we've been looking at the 1534 Act of Supremacy, repealed but restored onto the statute book by Elizabeth I in a settlement in 1559. Over the coming weeks, we'll be looking how the Anglicans from Canterbury, I speak as an ordained Anglican minister, but from Tanzania, the Ruvuma diocese. For what the Anglicans are in Africa is very different to what the Anglicans are from Canterbury, which has moved away from that of the Oxford martyrs to being of a cult today. We'll be giving all the evidence over the coming weeks in our precious Constitution. Presentation of the Scottish Heritage Party, which we invite you to join. I'm David Griffiths, coordinator in Scotland with my wife Lindsay. We would love to have you on board, standing for council, standing for Parliament, standing for Holyrood, to enable us to close the darn place down and give the power back to the people, so people in local councils can see their locally voted in representatives making the decisions with their money rather than having a globalist party in Holyrood. We're here today to bring you our heritage. Over the last weeks, we've covered the Elizabethan settlements, and this program is all about giving a summary of what we've been discussing over the last weeks. First of all, the settlement. The Act restores the ancient jurisdiction of the Crown over the state in both ecclesiastical and spiritual matters. Because there is a spirit, we need to understand that if we are to restore our nation. Our national churches are a disgrace, and we need to restore them in Scotland back to the vision of John Knox and the Covenanters, which we will be covering in future weeks. At the moment, we're seeing how Westminster, Buckingham Palace operates in relation to national government, in relation to the United Kingdom. This is why in the Scottish Heritage Party we need to present this, because it affects us in Scotland just as it affects every part of the United Kingdom. The settlements, so precious to us, involve the abolition of all foreign interference in our affairs. But over many years, this abolition was completely flouted by EU infiltration, and we in the Scottish Heritage Party will remove all of the EU laws. Mention is given in the Act of the repeal of the 1534 Act, regarding that repeal as unlawful. Unlawful then as it is unlawful today to try and touch our Constitution, as indeed Canterbury and the Palace did in relation to its coronation. In the Act, foreign infiltration is forever extinguished, making it unconstitutional to even think about placing our country under foreign laws. And in Scotland, we have a globalist government calling itself a nationalist party. How hilarious. No wonder it's falling apart. Also in the settlement, rights were given to archbishops, bishops, all ecclesiastical persons. So that includes the ministers of Scotland, who need to be making a stand rather than being the woke institutionalized ministry it has become. These persons, including temporal judges, justices, and mayors, are all required to keep the terms of the oath, meaning it's compulsory today for all these persons to recognize the monarch, which I believe now has been given to the real church, the Remnant church, in terms of the acts. I believe there's also an obligation to see that all those offending the act be brought to justice. The act establishes it will be illegal to tamper with the canon of Scripture, which has been going on since Westcott and Hort, well, going on far before Westcott and Hort, if you go back to Alexandria, Egypt. But in modern terms, from Westcott and Hort, who indeed were spiritualists, who indeed were Anglican bishops, and all that we will be covering in the coming weeks on this, our precious Constitution, as we will discover how paganism has not only infiltrated government, but is right at the heart of the monarchy. But to come back to the Elizabethan settlement and our summary, the two acts of supremacy, both of which are on the statute book, are there because of the passion of Elizabeth I. It is so important we recognize she laid down her life for this. And it is our legal and moral duty as citizens that we give reverence to how this settlement came about and how the years of the EU abused it. It's also why in Scotland the Solemn League and Covenant is so important. The opportunity today being clear to bring this together with the Puritanism of the Oxford martyrs, Cranmer, Latimer and Ridley. From where came the 39 Articles of Faith, which we will be covering over coming weeks. And the settlement involved an oath, and from the settlement came the 69 Act establishing the coronation oath, which reads that the statutes, laws and customs of the realm be kept to, that the government of the people is a monarch's responsibility, law and justice and mercy to be executed in all judgments, the laws of God maintained. How can that be with the massive abortion rate our country has? The utmost of the monarch's power not to be multi-faith. We in our party welcome people of all faiths, but this is a political party who have common objects like saving the children in the womb and keeping to the heritage of our nation. We're all for multi-faith dialogue, but understand because of the massive differences in the heritages of faiths that there can no way be multi-faith worship sessions like we witnessed in the coronation at the Abbey. But what there can be healthy dialogue, loving our neighbor, understanding the Good Samaritan. It could be a Muslim, could be a Buddhist, could be a Hindu. If you are a Hindu, if you are a Buddhist, could be a Christian who helps you out the gutter. We want to see good multi-faith relations, but understand our country is of a Judeo Christian heritage. The coronation being of Solomon, the Zadok priesthood, and of Nathan the prophet. And to touch that with anything else is indeed nothing less than high treason, in my view. You know, we live in a precious country. And indeed, we have people who have ancestors from all over the world. And there has been a blessing through immigration, but through controlled immigration. In the 1960s, West Indian people came to our country and helped us establish the motorway infrastructure in our nation. Yet the eco-green movement is looking to take all that away. You know, we need to come together, whatever faith you are, because in a political party you can come together and work together. I'm talking as regards to our ecclesiastical and spiritual history, which must remain separate, must remain that of the Judeo Christian heritage, else we'll be losing the rock on which we stand. But in the context of saving babies in wombs, of running the country sensibly, we can all come together as a nation and join a party which really cares. We invite you to join the Scottish Heritage Party. This is David Griffiths thanking you for joining us today. We do care. We've got passion. We want you to know that we love you and want you to see we're open, we're honest, we're determined to bring those attributes into government, but cannot do that unless our nation knows its heritage. Hence we are the Scottish Heritage Party. Hence we declare that we are coming into politics to take our country back. That is the heart of our party. Whatever faith you belong to, you're welcome to join. But we do have objectives. 1, to restore our Judeo-Christian heritage. 2, to save the babies in the womb. 3, to have a nation that is at peace with itself. Will you join us? You are so welcome. God bless you. See you next time on Scottish Heritage Party TV. Our next Precious Constitution program on understanding the Anglican cult as it has become and the differences between Canterbury and Africa. See you next week.